In this video, I'm going to be painting the blue moon in just 5 minutes. I'm going to show you every step of the way in real time, so you can see exactly what I did. Okay, the first stage is to prepare everything that you need. Nice big puddle of your chosen colour. Mine is indigo, a deep blue. Then I've got a coin there. I'm twisting it into some tissue. You can use kitchen roll, toilet paper, whatever. Put it to one side. So everything's ready now. You've got your puddle of paint and you've got your little tool to make the moon. And you want a soft brush to wet the top half of your paper. And it's slightly blue because I've just dipped it into the water that I'd mixed the indigo in, but that's fine, don't worry about that. I'm giving the top half of the paper a good wetting. I'm doing it twice because this is thick paper that I'm using. It's £300, 600 and odd GSM. You need to get it good and wet like this. Next, I'm switching to my number 8 round. I'm going to paint a line along the border between the wet and the dry area. Doesn't have to be straight because it's going to run in. I'm going to get these little interesting shapes where the paint runs up into the wetted paper. I decided I want to make a kind of a estuary scene or a lake scene. So I'm trying to get my lines a little bit straighter than I would normally. A little bit smoother. Okay, now let's get our soft wide brush again. And we'll run it along the top of that wetted area of wet indigo. You might have to do it a few times. We're trying to get the pigments to run up into the wet paper. So you might have to do this several times like I'm doing. And you can tip your paper to help the paint to flow up. Everybody will get a different result here depending on what paper they're using, how wet it is, humidity and a lot of other factors. Decided I'm going to add a little bit more pigment there. It's all still very wet. And it should dribble up into the wet area. I'm just going to smooth off the top of that sky area a little bit. I don't want that looking too organic. Now I'm grabbing my coin in a tissue and I'm going to press down for a couple of seconds and it blots out all the paint, leaving behind the core of the paper, which is white obviously. So it's not a blue moon as such, it's a white moon. We call it a blue moon because it occurs when there are 2 full moons in a calendar month. You can see from the tipped angler that the pigment is still flowing up, but not into the moon area because that's dry. So yeah, a blue moon is when we have 2 full moons in one calendar month, and it's an infrequent occurrence, which is why we say once in a blue moon. It happens approximately every 2.5 years. The next one is December 2028. So maybe I'll come back to that video, to this video then. Anyway, back to the shoreline now. I'm trying to get a nice, relatively smooth edge. I'm not working from a reference, I've just got this idea in my head, which is why you get a few pauses. This is a real time. So sometimes you stop and think, wave your brush around while you're thinking, okay, that's enough. Back to the soft brush now. I want to add a little bit of vegetation to the near shoreline. I'm going to run the brush through that area again, like we did at the top, but just once. I don't want a lot of bleed. Just want a little tiny stripe to represent some shoreline grasses. Notice how the brush has bent as well, which is handy because we can do this now. We can just dab along that edge to get some grasses, weeds, and vegetation and so on. And that's it. Painting done in 5 minutes. And if you haven't seen the original videos that I showed this moon trick in, I'll leave a link to them here and you can watch those again. Thanks for watching. See you next time.